Welcome to the Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. All right, y'all. This is for the young people. This is for my emails going off. Everything's going off at the same time. This is for the young folk, okay? Not just the young folk, but some older folk too. But I just put one of my cousins onto this. Check it out. If you are maxed out on your credit cards, okay, let's say you're maxed out. Let me just give you the real scenario of what was presented to me, okay? And the temporary advice that I gave, okay? This individual has a credit card of $1,000 is the maximum on the card, okay? They're new to the game. They're young. Cool. They're in a pickle because they need to pay their cell phone bill. Cell phone about to be cut off. All right. So what I explained to them is that anytime you pay your bills, pay your credit cards first. Especially if your credit cards, not especially, always pay your credit cards first. That's the financial advice that I got from mentors years and years ago, because it's going to affect your credit. And when you get in the credit game, I'm going to tell you, it is going to follow you for the rest of your life. It is going to determine if you can buy a car. It is going to determine if you can buy a home. It determines so many different things. I don't personally think it's fair. I think it's a whole whatever. But this is what it is. Always keep your credit on. I cannot stress this enough. Keep your credit on point. If you have to pay that minimum, payment every month, at least pay the minimum. And I will tell you this, pay more than the minimum. If you got a little extra scratch going on, you need to pay more than the minimum. Because if you keep on paying the minimum, you're going to be paying all of these, fees and all the. Pay more than the minimum. But let's say times are hard on the boulevard, right? This is what you do. You have two bills that you have to pay. Your credit card bill, let's say that, your card is maxed out, $1,000 max. Your credit card bill is $100, and then you have your cell phone bill for $100. Pay your credit card first. The reason why is because you can reuse, recycle, reallocate that payment that you just made, right? Your credit card is maxed out at $1,000 and you have $100, but you have two bills. Pay your credit card first, right? That's that $100 payment. Once you do that, you will have $100 open to use, to recycle, to reallocate to your phone bill. That's $100 or $80 or whatever it is, right? So pay the credit cards first, and then take that payment that you just made and use that open to buy amount and go pay the other bills. Because once you pay that cell phone bill with that $100, it's gone. And now the credit card bill goes unpaid, which then goes ding on your credit. Right? We're so worried about paying the utilities of things. Oh, we don't want this to get cut off. And I understand that. I totally get that. But pay your credit card bills first and then take that money and reuse it again. Okay? And pay your other bills. This is by no means financial advice to live by for the rest of your life. It is not. But when you are in a tight spot and you need to make quick decisions, this is one that you can do. Because it will at least buy you time. And then your credit card bill is on the books as being paid that month, and then also your phone bill has been paid. Now you just bought yourself 30 more days. Okay? You just bought yourself another 30 days. So don't let something like being tight with your money or leaving one thing for the other. That's a quick way and a quick tip for you. If you get into this type of situation where you can literally take one payment, one set of money, $100, and make two payments. Right? I was taught that actually by a financial guru, that always pay your credit cards first, because you want to make sure that your credit stays on point. And paying your credit cards on time is paramount. It is a major piece of your score. Okay? I cannot stress that anymore. Paying on time, your payment history is a major chunk of your credit. As a matter of fact, let me go over the sections of I don't even know what the best word to say. The 5 pieces that bring together. There's a segmented like pie chart of how the credit game works and the different parts. So here are the different sections. You have the first big section, which is 35%, and that is comprised of your payment history. That's 35% of your credit score. Okay, this shows how much you are able to pay your bills on time, how often you miss payments, how many days past due. This is major. That's 35% of your credit card score, okay, or your credit score. The next section down is how much you owe. So if you hear the word utilization, right, how much is the utilization? Do y'all know what that means? How much credit are you using? How much do you owe? Right? How much debt are you in? Okay. The length of your credit history. That was 30%, the amount owed. So payment history, excuse me, is 35%. The amount you owe is 30%. The next section, excuse me, I'm like dealing with this scratchy throat right now, but we're going to keep it pushing. 15% is the length of your credit history. So the longer the history of your credit and you are making on-time payments, the higher your score will be, right? Let me say that again. The longer the history of the credit that you have, meaning you don't want to have like 5 credit cards in the last 2 years. You want to have some credit cards that you've had for 15 years, 10 years, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? You want to see a long history of great credit, meaning a long history and timely payments. Okay? That is 15% of your score. So 35% of your credit score is payment history, 30% of your score is amount owed, 15% of your score is length of credit history. Now, the 2 smaller sections, still important, but they are a little bit smaller, and that is types of accounts that you have. So that makes up 10% of your score. So it's good to have different types of accounts. So they mean different types of installment loans. So if you have a mortgage, a home mortgage, retail cards, if you have, a Macy's card and all of that, have a different mix, different types of credit, not just one type of credit, one source of credit. So have a nice mix of different things, right? And that also, with timely payments being made and good history of payments. That will also help your score. Another small section that was 10%. This other section is also 10%, and that's recent credit activity, right? So if you have opened up a lot of credit cards in the last couple of years, it sometimes can trigger your score to go down because it's looking like you're a credit risk. Why are you applying for all this credit all the time? What's going on? So it makes you look like a credit risk, a liability for lenders. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're not constantly opening up credit all the time. Here is another tip, and I learned this from trial and error for myself. If you are shopping around for new credit cards, it's a very good idea to shop around for those credit cards within the same time frame. So don't go shopping for credit cards in February and then down in June start shopping for some more credit cards and then over in September. No, do it around the same time. And the reason why is because those dings to, running your credit, it does take a couple of points here and there off of your credit when there's a hard pull on your credit account. But what will happen is those hard pulls will drop off around the same time. So that way you're not waiting. So let's say you were looking for 3 or 4 credit cards in February. Then you did some hard pulls back then. Then you did some hard pulls last month. Then you're going to do some more hard pulls in November. Then you're waiting the whole year for those hard pulls to drop off. You know what I mean? So if you cluster them together, then all of those hard pulls will drop off at the same time. That's a trick that I learned from a financial advisor. So be very intentional. Credit is very intentional. Now, here's the thing too, what I learned over the years. Credit is extremely intentional. You can manipulate the number up and down just by when you make your payments. You want to make your payments before the final day. So if you have a payment that's due on the 15th, you want to pay before the 15th. Before that final day. You want to pay before your closing date. You have a payment date and a closing date. Find out when the closing date is and pay right before that. I tell you, you will save so much interest. It is a godsend because that is when they're going to push that information out to the credit bureaus. Right? So you have a lot of control over your score, but you have to understand how it works. Okay? So I'm going to go back all the way to the beginning of this. If you are in a pickle, and this is for the young folks coming up, and you have maxed out your cards, but you got a couple of bills to pay your credit cards first, and then you can reuse that money that's now open on the credit card to pay your other bills. Right? And that, I'm going to tell you, it will get you out of a pickle. It buys you some time, but this is not the way you want to live for the rest of your life. So you want to make sure that you're, searching out side hustles or whatever it is that you need to do. Maybe you're trying to start your own business, that sort of thing. Start getting together with other people and pooling your resources together so you can start a side hustle and to, loosen up some of the reins that are so tight right now. There's always people that need things done. If it's organizing people's, basements, organizing their garages, whatever it is, any little thing like this can make people money. Listen, start lining up what you're going to do for the winter. Where people always need their snow shoveled. I tell you, people like my mom does not, the days of her shoveling snow are over. You know what I'm saying? She's like, well, why am I shoveling snow for when I can give the neighbor kid $20 and he could do my whole, front yard? I mean, you have to, like I said, you have to work smarter, not harder. And I will tell you, a lot of these millionaires out here and billionaires and all of that, their money is working for them. And that's really where wealth comes from, is when your money is working for you while you sleep. So investments in houses and properties and things like that, flipping homes, whatever. I love investing in homes. The home investment thing, listen, when I want to get crack-a-lacking back with it again, because when it was amazing. So again, it's just some tips just to kind of get you out of a tight pickle. Pay your credit cards first, and then use that money and recycle it and pay your other bills, right? But also remember, with your credit score, 35% is payment history, so you always want to make sure you pay on time. You may not have extra, but at least pay the minimum and pay it on time. 30% of your score is the amount that you owe. 15% of your score is the length of your credit history. 10% of your score is the credit mix. And another 10%, the final 10%, is how much new credit do you have showing on your report. Okay, so that's just a little game that I can give y'all. Again, disclaimer, this is not financial advice for you to live for the rest of your life. This is just something that will take you through until you can get to where you want to be. All right, you guys, that's it. Like, share, subscribe to this podcast. I will shout you out on my Instagram at Onyx Queen Media if you tag me and let me know you're listening. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.